Hi everyone, you're welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Lady Peace. In my last video, I shared with you guys how to draft a tube bustier. And remember I told you guys that in my next video, we're going to be learning how to cut and sew this on our fabric. So if you haven't watched this video, I'll advise you go check it out before coming back for this particular video here. Because everything here is very detailed and is beginners friendly. Trust me, you're going to love every bit of this. Please stay tuned and watch this video till the end. So guys, these are the patterns we drafted from our previous video. If you have watched that video, just like I said, you should know where we got all of this from. And this is the fabric I'm going to be making use of. What I have here is 6 yards of Ankara fabric. So I will advise you have enough fabric to work with. Okay, so I went ahead to place the center front and I gave 1/2 inch of allowance all around. So the next thing I'm going to do is to go ahead and cut this out, and I will make sure that every other pieces I'll just place them and also cut them out, and I'll also give 1/2 inch of stitching allowance around it, just like what I have here. Okay, so make sure that you place your center front on the center part of your fabric, just like this. So now that I'm done cutting this, I'm also going to go ahead and do same for the other pieces. This Ankara fabric I'm working with has its own design here, as you can see. So I cut out the center front here using the other design, and I cut out the sides using this other design. I made sure to also repeat same thing for the back pieces. You guys, this is the back pieces. So if you've watched the pattern drafting video, you should know where we got all of this from. So right now I'm just going to keep the rest fabric aside and then work on this other one here for now, because this is the one we are going to be using for now. Okay, so please, you guys, you just need to pay attention. So this here is the center front. Okay, we have the back, we have the center front, and we also have the side pieces. So the next thing I'm going to do now is to now keep the back pieces aside, and let's work on the center front and the side. So I've gone ahead to remove all my pins from it. Remember, I used pin to pin this down before cutting it on my fabric. So I'll just go ahead and open it up. Can you see this beautiful design I have here? I just wanted to like spice this up a little. That was why I had to cut this design just like this. So right now this is the side here, and I have 2 pieces for the side front. Okay, so the only pieces that is supposed to be one is the center front. Okay, so 2 pieces for the side and 2 pieces for the back. Okay guys, so I've gone ahead to also iron my head stay on it. Okay, I used a black head stay, that's why it's black. Now you can decide to use any one of your choice. We have the white and the black, so I made use of the black because that was what I had available at the moment. So I'm just going to open the center front just like this. As you can see, I have ironed my head stay on it. So the next thing I'm going to do now is to now cut out wording for this. Now if you don't know how to pad your tube bustier, please pay attention to what I'll be saying here. If you've used wording before, you should know that there is a part that is shining and a part that is not shining. Like I hope you understand. So that part that is shining, I'm going to place it on the wrong side of my fabric. Now that is a part you need to place on the wrong side of your fabric. Okay, so I'm going to place my fabric on top of it this way, and then go ahead to trace this out, and I will make sure it stops around my under bust, 1/2 inch below my under bust. I hope you understand. So I'll just go ahead and then trace out everything here. So guys, I'm done, and this is what I have here. So make sure that the wrong side of your wording is facing the wrong side of your bustier. Okay, so you can see that mine actually stops around my under bust, half inch below my under bust. Now you can decide to take yours down to where your bustier actually stops. Like you can decide to take it down to the end of your bustier. It's totally fine. I just wanted mine to stop half inch below my under bust, so I'll just go ahead and use my pins to hold this down, and then I'm also going to go ahead and repeat same thing for the sides. Okay, so remember I had two pieces here, so what I'm going to do is I can decide to keep one of the pieces and then use one to cut our wording out, but I just decided to go ahead and place each of them right side facing each other just like this, and I'm just going to go ahead and bring my wording. Okay, so I'll bring it this way and I'm going to fold this into two, and that's because we are going to be cutting two for both the two bustier, like the two pieces. I hope you understand. So instead of cutting out one, just go ahead and fold your go ahead and fold your wording into two this way and place your bustier, making sure that it is half inch below my under bust. Okay, half inch below my under bust. As you can see, I'm just going to go ahead and trace it out, and by the time I'm done, I'm just going to also go ahead and make a little curve. Okay, I just want it to be a little bit round around this area, so I was just trying to show you guys with my chalk, but you're going to understand this better by the time I'm done cutting out this. So guys, I'm done cutting this out, and this is what I have here. Remember I told you guys I'll be cutting out two, so I went ahead to fold the wording into two, and I had two pieces here. So one is going for each side of these pieces and the other one is going for this other side. So this is how you need to place it, and make sure you are placing this right side facing the wrong side facing, like your wording, the part that is shining is supposed to be facing the wrong side of your fabric. I hope you understand. Okay, so now I'm going to now go ahead and place this right side facing each other. Can you see? So go ahead and place it this way, right side facing each other, and you're going to use your pins to hold this down. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead, use my pin, hold this down, and I'm also going to repeat same thing for the other one. So guys, once I'm done pinning this down, I'm just going to go ahead and turn it over this way. So I've not even stitched this down yet, and this is how it's looking already. So I'm going to now head over to my sewing machine, and I'm going to stitch down those areas I pinned with half of an inch. Okay, you can see how beautiful this is already looking even without me stitching this. If you did this correctly, you're going to have a very beautiful, nice, a very beautiful look. All right, so this is how mine looks, and you can see how the effects on it already. So I'm just going to head over to my sewing machine and stitch this down with half inch, and I'm also going to stitch down this part with half inch. I've stitched this down, and this is how it's looking. So this is how it is looking after I was done stitching it. So this particular point here that we stitch, I'm also going to go ahead and notch this. So guys, by the time you are done stitching it, please do well to also notch this. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and notch all those areas, and then I'll head over to my iron and iron all the seams opened. Okay, so just go ahead and iron it out once you are done notching this. I also went ahead to cut out my wording, like to double it, because the one I had was very very light. So I just went ahead to double it. I cut out another one and made it very thick. Okay, so if you are using a light wording and you know you are okay with it, it's totally fine. The one I had available was too light, so that was where I just went ahead to double it again. Now this is optional. It depends on the one you had available, and it totally depends on what you want. So once I'm done notching this, I'm now going to go ahead and ironed all my seams opened. Okay, you can see what I'm doing right here. You're just going to open up all this part here and make sure you give it a very good press. Okay, so you can already see how the wording is looking. We've not even ironed this yet, and you can see how it's looking. Please make sure to use your tailor's ham whenever you want to iron your cups. Okay, make sure you don't iron your cups flat. Go ahead and put in your tailor's ham this way. If you don't know how to make this, please let me know in the comment section. I'm going to be making a video on how you can make your own tailor's ham this way. So I'm going to put it in and then give this a very good press. After ironing this is what I have. You can already see the effects we have here on our bustier. You can see how everything is very beautiful here. Now if you actually did this correctly, you will have a very nice and beautiful look just like this. You can see this is where your boobs can actually sit perfectly. Okay, so this is very beautiful and you should have a very nice look just like this. So this is how mine looks. Now the next thing we are going to do now is to work on the back pieces. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and remove these patterns here. I'll remove this pattern here. I'll remove my needles and then remove it. Remember I told you guys we'll be having two pieces for the back pattern. Okay, so this is what I have here. So I'm going to place back my pattern to be sure of where and how to place this. Okay, so I just went ahead to place it back, and I'm going to now bring this other side here and then bring this part to this other side here. Just make sure you are placing this correctly. If you don't know how to place it, go ahead and put back your patterns and then place them correctly. So I'm going to go ahead now and start pinning this. So I'll start pinning this from the end here. I'll pin them with my pins and then do same thing for the other side, and I'll take this over to my sewing machine and stitch it down with 1/2 inch. I'm done stitching this, and this is what I have here. I also went ahead to do same for the other side. So this is how beautiful this looks. Every other thing I did here, I also went ahead to repeat same thing for the lining pieces. Okay, so whatever you do, make sure you do same thing for your lining. So I'm going to place this right side facing each other this way, and then I'm going to now go ahead and stitch from the upper part here, stitch through to this part, or stitch through here, and then I'm going to stitch the down part, but I won't stitch the side. Please don't close up the side. So guys, before you close this up, I want to insert like a little ropes inside of this. So this is something I forgot, like I totally forgot about this, so I had to bring this video back to make you guys understand. But first I'm going to show you how you are going to cut out the ropes before you insert it and then place your lining on top of it.
Feelings. It's like I can't walk on the ceiling. Oh yeah, got me dreaming. Feelings. It's like I can't walk on the ceiling.
So guys, I've cut out my ropes and this is what I have. I have two here, and the next thing I'm going to do is to now fold this. So what I have here, the length is 40 inches. It's 40 inches in length, and the width for this is 1.5 inch. So I'll just go ahead and fold it this way, and I'm going to stitch it. And once I'm through, I'm also going to go ahead and turn it out. Okay, so I'll do same thing for the other side. So this is it here after I was done stitching it. Now the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to try and bring this out. Okay, so I'm trying to use like my comb to push it out to the right side. Now this can be a little bit difficult, but you just need to try your best, okay? So just continue pulling it out just like what I'm doing here until it gets to the other end, okay? Once you've turned everything to the right side, you're now going to bring back your bustier, okay? You're going to bring it back this way, and you're going to first place the ropes inside, like on that area where you actually stitch the center, front and the side. So you place it this way, and you're going to place the other one inside of it this way, okay? So place it on that very point, just like this, and you're going to place this here. And once you are done, go ahead and then bring your lining pieces and place on top of it, just like this. Okay, so you can go ahead and use your pins to just pin this down. Can you see what I'm doing? I'm going to use my pin now to hold this down, okay, so that this doesn't move by the time I'm stitching it directly on my sewing machine. I'm also going to go ahead and hold this particular one here. Okay, so I'll use my pin to hold it down just like this. Okay, and then I'm going to also go ahead and hold this center point here. Can you see? You just need to be very careful when it comes to this particular part here. Okay, so I'll use my needle to also hold this here, and then I'm going to go ahead and stitch down those areas with 1/2 inch. Don't worry, I'm going to show you. I'm just trying to hold all this part here with my needle so that everything is looking very accurate. Okay, so just go ahead and use your needles to hold them down, and then you can also decide to do same for this other side. So I'll advise you use your needle before you take this over to your sewing machine. Make sure you use your needles to hold them down. I hope you can see what I'm doing here. Okay, so use them this way. So once I'm through with this, I'm going to now go ahead and stitch all of those areas with 1/2 inch. I'm going to show you now how to stitch them. So you stitch from the upper part here through to this point. You're going to stitch, and when you come to the down part, you're going to push all of this inside. Put everything inside this way and close up the down part. Please don't close up the side, because we're going to turn out all of that from this other point here. So I'm going to show you guys. So guys, I've stitched down all of this, and this is what I have here. I went ahead to stitch down these areas and this area here. So before I turn this over to the right side, I just want to go ahead and trim off the excess fabric I have here, and I'm also going to go ahead and notch this. Okay, so go ahead and trim off the excess fabric, then notch it before you go ahead and turn this over to the right side. I'm done cutting out all this excess fabric here. It's now time to go ahead and turn this over to the right side. So remember this part I told you guys not to close up earlier. So I'm just going to turn out everything from here. Can you see? I'll turn it out this way, and I'm just going to go back to my iron and iron all of this together. Okay, so once you've turned this over to the right side, go back to your iron and give it a very good press. Okay guys, so I've ironed this out, and this is what I have here. This is how mine looks. So this is it here. Even this bustier area, you can see how everything is just standing very perfect. Okay, so this is how it looks from the inside, and this is the front part here. I also went ahead to iron out everything very smoothly. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do now is to work on these areas here. I also went ahead to fold in 1/2 inch and iron it out. So these are my loops. Okay, so all those here are my loops. I have 10 of these. So remember the way I folded this little ropes here that I used from the Bustier. That's the same thing I do for these loops here, and I went ahead to just cut them out using 2 2-inch. So right now I'm just going to go ahead and fold it this way, and I'm going to first put one of it inside of it like this. Can you see? I'm going to first insert it inside, go ahead and fold it, and then insert it inside just like what I'm doing here. Can you see what I'm doing? And by the time I'm done, I'm going to try and see if I can use my needle to hold this down, but I don't think this will be possible. So this is better done on your sewing machine. So you are going to like insert it while you stitch. You can see me struggling with my pin. Okay, this is not going to work at all. So what you do is you go over to your sewing machine. When you placed any of them, you just stitch as it goes. So the distance I'm going to be giving this is about 2 inches. Okay, so I'll come down from that point. I'll come down by 2 inches again, and I'm just going to use my chalk to mark it here. And after then, I'm going to now insert another one by folding it again. I'll insert it this way. So I'll take this to my sewing machine, and while I insert it, I will just go ahead and stitch. That's the best way to do this. So I'm just trying to show you guys that I'm giving 2 inches distance on it, and I'll do like this till it gets to the end of this part here. And I'm also going to repeat same thing for the other side. Okay, so you take note of what I'm doing, and please head over to your sewing machine and then stitch as it goes. Okay, so guys, let's go over to the next step, and I'm going to show you guys what I had after I was done. So to get the gathers, I've gone ahead to bring another fabric here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and measure this to show you guys how many yards I have here. So from this point here, I'm going to go ahead and start taking the measurement around. So to get that gathers, you will need a lot of fabrics for this. So this is already 1 yard. I'm going to go ahead and keep measuring this. I just want you guys to understand everything I'm doing here. So we are done with the upper part, and it's now time to get the gathers. Okay, so I'll keep taking this measurement. Okay, so this right here is 2 yards, and I'm going to continue again. So I had about 3 yards of fabric here, and the width for this is about, so let's go ahead and measure the width. So you can see the width is 43 inches. So while cutting the upper part, remember I stopped my waist at 18 inches, and I also went ahead to add ½ inch to it. So for the down part, I'm going to be adding 1 inch for that 43 inches. I'll explain better. So I'll first add, so that 1 inch I added, I'm going to be using ½ inch for the folding allowance at the down part, and for the upper part as well, I'm also going to be using ½ inch for the stitching allowance. Now you need to run a gather stitch. What I have here is a gather stitch that I have already run on my fabric. Okay, so you need to run a gather stitch. When making a gather stitch, you don't need to back stitch. Okay, you don't need to back stitch. Go ahead and make gather stitch, and you're going to pick just one of the ropes. If you don't know how to do this, please let me know in the comment section, so that in my next video I can decide to just show you guys how to go about this. Okay, so you keep pulling on it this way. Okay, this can be a little bit trickish, but you just need to be very careful, because while pulling on this, if your rope mistakenly cuts off, you will need to start all over again. I'm trying my best to see how I can explain this better for you, but please let me know in the comment section if you really understand what I was trying to say here. So right here, I'm just trying to pull all those threads to get my gathers. Okay, so to have your gathers, you need to run a gather stitch, and when you're running a gather stitch, you do not back stitch. Don't back stitch when running your gather stitch. Okay, so I will keep pulling on it this way until I get what I want. Now there's something I wanted to explain to you guys, which I said, remember while we were drafting our patterns, I actually stopped at my waistline. My waistline was 18 inches, and I added half inch to it for the stitching allowance. I hope you guys remembered. Now this other material I'm using here, I measured it and it was 3 yard. So that 3 yard wasn't enough. I had to add extra 1 yard to this. So basically I used 4 yards of fabric for these gathers because I wanted mine to come out very full. Okay, so now the next thing I did was the width of this dress was 43 inches, and I added 1 inch to it, making it 44 inches. Okay, so now I said we're going to be folding the end of this fabric with half inch, and we're going to be using half inch for the upper part to join with the upper part of our dress. I hope you understand. Don't worry, you're going to understand everything better. Okay, so I'm going to keep pulling on it this way until I get what I want. So guys, this is what I had after I was done pulling on it. Can you see how beautiful this looks? So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to bring out our upper part, like the upper part of this dress, our bustier areas. Okay, I hope you understand. And I'm going to like measure what I have. So you're going to measure what you have. From here I will just measure through to this point here. I will just measure to this part, and I had about, I don't know, but I think I had about 30 something. And I'm going to also measure this to be sure if I had up to like 30 something. Please, there's something I want you guys to take note. When you are doing this, please make sure to add your zipper allowance to the skirt part. So this is like the skirt part. So I measured it and it wasn't enough. I just had to like pull it out a little again, and then I'm going to measure it again to be sure that I have the accurate number I'm working with. Okay, I think it was 36. Okay, so I'll just measure to be sure that I have up to that. Okay, and after then I'm just going to now close up, like lock up this part, and to do that just hold your 2 threads and then lock them so that it's not going to like pull out by the time you are stitching on it. Can you see what I'm doing? I'll just hold those 2 threads and then drag them. That way you have locked it. So remember I told you guys when you are pulling it you need to use 1 thread. So now that I'm done, I'll just hold it that way. I have locked it. I hope you understand what I'm trying to say. So this is how it looks here. The next thing I'm going to do now is I'm going to now bring the upper part. Okay, can you see? I'm going to now bring the upper part of our bustier, and I'm going to now place it right sides facing each other. Okay, this is how it's supposed to be. So place it right sides facing each other. So remember I said I added half inch, like 1 inch to the skirt part. So half inch for the folding allowance and half inch for stitching allowance at the waist area here. So I'm just using my needles to hold this down before taking this over to my sewing machine to stitch it down with half inch. I just hope you guys understand what I'm trying to say. So I'll continue pinning it this way, and once I'm through, I'll take it to my sewing machine and stitch it down. So guys, I'm done stitching everything, and this is what I have here. I also went ahead to like fold in this loops area, like fix everything, and I went ahead to also fix a zipper to the down part here. And this is what I have. This camera is not doing justice to this dress, honestly. Everything here came out very nice and beautiful. You can see our bustier area here sitting very perfectly, beautiful and nice. I actually love this dress after I was done. See how beautiful this looks. Thanks for watching. And this right here is the final look. So you can see how the back looks. This is how beautiful everything came out. Like I told you guys, this camera is not doing justice to this dress. Honestly, you can see the one I put on, you can see how beautiful everything looks. If you watch this far, thank you so much for stopping by. If you are new here, you're welcome, and to my old subscribers, thank you so much, and I really love you guys. Thank you guys for watching this video. Please do well to leave a comment for me, and please don't forget to share this video. Let me know what you think about this in the comments section, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.